everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Stella Live, and in today's video we are going to be doing some Dollar Tree Halloween DIYs. Anyways, I'm not going to blab too much. Let's get into the video. For this first DIY, I'm going to be taking this cat bowl that I found in the pet section at Dollar Tree and spray painting it black. I'm also going to be taking a terracotta plant saucer that I found from Lowe's for a couple of dollars and painting that black as well. I should have spray painted it, and I didn't do that because I was trying to save some time and trying to get the top of the DIY done while the bottom of the DIY was drying, but that actually did not happen. I could have spray painted the top of this. So if you do make this, that's what I would do. I would spray paint it just so it matches the bottom a little bit better. Anyways, I did end up gluing the plant saucer to a bubble vase that I found from the Dollar Tree with some E6000 glue and some hot glue as well. I didn't show me using the hot glue because that was an afterthought. And now we are going to be taking one of these Dollar Tree glow-in-the-dark skeletons and dismembering his head from his body. I then cut off the little plastic circle on the top of his head. And then I took battery-operated wire string lights and then stuffed the entire wire inside of the skull's head where the skull used to be connected to his body. All of it goes inside his head. Now, I originally did use some Velcro to attach it to the battery pack, but then I decided it wasn't secure enough, so I did end up using some hot glue instead. And I stuck it on the side where the cover does not come off of the battery pack. And then we are going to be taking one of these magnifying sheets that I found in the office supplies section of Dollar Tree. And what I'm going to be doing with this is wrapping it around itself so it will fit into the bubble vase. But of course, we've got to cut it down to size first. And because the magnifying sheet wasn't quite large enough, I did have to add on a little extension piece from the magnifying sheet, which you see I'm doing right here. I cut off this little piece and then I glued it to both sides of the magnifying sheet that I cut off previously. And just to make sure I was getting the size right, I did stick it into the bubble vase before I glued the other side down, and I just dabbed a little bit of hot glue on the end. And then I finished gluing it outside of the bubble vase. So that's what I'm doing right here. I just wanted it to fit perfectly inside of the vase. And then after we have it all glued together, we're going to stick it back inside of the vase. And then we're going to turn the lights on the skull. And we do not glue this down to the cat bowl. So that way in the future, when the batteries die, we are able to change the batteries out. And then we're just going to take the vase and set it on top of the cat bowl. And we are done. This is the final result. Now, I do feel like I need to give a warning. Because the vase is not glued to the cat bowl, you do need to keep an eye on this when you have a lit candle on top of it. I used a single wick candle from Bath & Body Works, which I also wanted to mention that this DIY was actually inspired by the Skull 3-wick candle holder at Bath & Body Works. The one from Bath & Body Works lights up like this purple color. I just used some leftover string lights from last Christmas from the Dollar Tree, but they do have purple string lights in the Halloween section this year. Okay, so this second DIY is actually super simple. We are going to be breaking the plastic off of this skeleton champagne glass, and then we are going to be spray painting it white. I did use some tape on the bottom of this just because it's such a light item that I didn't want the wind knocking it over and messing up my paint job. Alright, this is what the skeleton hand looks like all painted, and then we're going to be taking one of these light up candles and we're going to be placing it into the skeleton's hand, being very careful while we do so because it is a tight squeeze and we don't want to break off one of his phalanges. Now, I did want to take the time to mention that the Target Threshold Halloween line this year has something similar to this, except with a taper candle holder. So instead of using this Halloween light, you could totally replace it with a battery-operated taper candle from the Dollar Tree. I also wanted to announce that I'm going to be starting a new series on my channel called Can I Dupe It?, where I try to see if I can do popular seasonal items. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Alright, now we are going to be moving on to the third DIY. I took one of these metal Halloween coffins from the Dollar Tree Halloween Plus section, and they have these little metal clasps on the back that we're going to be unbending and taking off the back, and then we're going to unravel these string lights from the little metal clips on the inside.
And then we're also going to be taking off the plastic coffin sheet from the front of this coffin. Now, once again, we're going to be taking one of these magnifying sheets. Again, you can get them from the Dollar Tree in the office supplies section. And we're going to be tracing the coffin shape from the plastic piece that we took out and replacing that with the magnifying sheet. Now, I personally did not like this skull on the front of the coffin. It was just really flimsy, so I did take it off, but I saved it for any future DIY projects. And then we're going to take one of these glow-in-the-dark skeletons and cut the little plastic thing off the top of his head. And he's going to be going inside of this coffin. His arms and legs won't feet. They won't feet. I thought about re-recording that, but I'm just going to leave it in there. Anyways, then I poked a little hole in his pelvis, and then we're going to be cutting a line all the way up to the top of his spine. We are going to end up dismembering his head, but don't worry, we will reattach it in the end. Now right here, I am taking my X-Acto knife because it did get a little bit harder with the scissors to cut the line all the way up to the top. So I just kind of switched from my scissors to the X-Acto knife. Once I had the incision cut on his spine, I went ahead and I put the wired string lights into his body, and I did this by leaving a little portion of the string lights at the top, so that way when I was done there would still be some for his head. So once I filled his head with lights, this sounds hilarious, once I filled his head with lights, I then reattached it back to his neck, and then I took some hot glue and I hot glued him to the back of the coffin. Once he was secured nicely in the coffin, I flipped him around and I did hot glue a couple of flowers on him. Now, the original idea was to actually do some flowers on the inside, but the flowers that I have from the Dollar Tree are just too large. But if you can find some smaller flowers and spiders and stuff, you could always put those on the inside. Now, this DIY was again inspired by a Bath & Body Works Halloween decor piece. It is their skeleton wallflower plug-in, and that's where this idea came from. I just wanted to make it in a larger size. I had this idea last year, and I ended up doing something completely different with how I originally planned to do it. But yeah, this is probably my favorite DIY out of all of them. For this next DIY, I took one of these cylinder vases and I spray painted it black. And then I took one of these spider webs and removed the glow-in-the-dark spider from it. And then I took my hot glue and I hot glued just the body on the spider to the vase. I did actually have to cut down the legs some because the legs were just too long for the vase. After the body was secured into place, I then glued down each leg individually, and that's it. This was another super easy DIY. Now, you could do what I did. I do think this is very cool when the lights are turned off, but I don't know. There's just something about black that gets me every single time, so I did end up spray painting the spider after he was glued on. Now, obviously, if you want to spray paint the spider black, you can go ahead and hot glue it on first before you even spray paint it, so that way you're not spray painting two separate times. And then for my last DIY, I'm going to be taking some rub-on letters and spelling out "Welcome Mortals" onto this bone. And unfortunately, I didn't think I had enough room, so it is a little off-center. It does bug me a little bit, but it is what it is. You could also paint the bone and make it look more aged before doing this, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I actually do think that if you mess it up a little, it looks cooler, in my opinion. And then I took this string off of another Dollar Tree sign, and I used this to hang the bone. I poked some holes in the top of it and then stuck those in there. Now, the rub-on letters that I used for this, they did come from Walmart. However, hear me out, there's a reason why. Dollar Tree does have rub-on letters, but the Dollar Tree that I live near It does not have them in stock currently. So I did have to purchase these rub-on letters from Walmart. I think they were around $3, but you can get these from the Dollar Tree for $1.25.
Anyways, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I do plan on putting out my Can I Dupe It video within the next week, so stay tuned for that, and I hope to see you guys all next time. Bye!